of successive governments. In recent months, he has widely and openly criticized the UPND government, the IMF program, rising living costs, and what he describes as a shrinking of democratic space in Zambia. Supporters see him as a principled voice for the poor and working class, while critics argue he offers strong rhetoric but unclear solutions in a complex global economy. This morning, we move beyond slogans. We ask the hard questions about democracy, power, the economy, socialism, opposition unity, and whether Dr. Fred's members' vision is realistic for Zambia today as we'll be heading to the polls 2026 for the general election. Dr. Fred Member, welcome to the program.
Thank you for hosting me.
Indeed.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. All right. Now, before we get into the hard questions, first of all, how would you describe Zambia today in one honest sentence?
I think it's not really the best day to do that today. It's a day when we're supposed to be forgetting about our troubles, our sorrows, and rejoice the coming of the Redeemer. So really, it's an awkward program for me. Very awkward program to really get into the heavy issues that depress people, that pull you down. So I would have loved a much lighter interview to deal or to suit the day, but I don't have a choice. It's your decision.
Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about the democracy in Zambia. As a socialist party, would you say that it is under threat in Zambia?
We are in a multi-party political dispensation. That's the democracy we have. We are in a plural society. Part of democracy in a multi-party or plural society is the ability of people to express themselves. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, people's right to protest, to demonstrate, people's right to associate, and so on. We have seen a shrinkage in these very fundamental rights. Or in court over the freedom of expression issues than we have seen in the whole independent history of this country. These are worrying things. That's why they are called fundamental freedoms. They make a human being a human being. Without the ability to speak out, to speak up, express oneself, a human being's dignity diminishes. We have seen also freedom of association being affected, where political parties are being stolen in broad daylight. The case of the PF is one classical issue. The political space isn't one of a multi-party or one that encourages multi-party political dispensation. Even people who are not in politics, who are just in civil society, have had it difficult to express themselves. We have had church meetings disbanded or dismissed. People just for religious gatherings, they have been not allowed to do so. These have been reported by you, our friends in the media. I don't think I've seen anything like this since 1991, when we returned to a multi-party political dispensation. I've not seen anything like this, either as a journalist for 27 years of that, or as a political person for the remainder of the years.
So now, Dr. Membe, critics would say that the opposition leaders so far that we have in Zambia seem to personalize attacks towards the president or this government rather than policy critique. Would you agree with that statement?
Democracy is a noise society. A democratic society is a noise society. People speak about what they want to speak about, not what those in government want them to speak about. They choose what to speak about. They have the right to speak about anything. They can go for the personality of the president. It matters. They can go for a policy option that they feel strongly about. Some may feel strongly about water. They will be talking about water and sanitation. They have the right to do so. Some may feel much more about the cost of living. And there will be organizations created just to deal with the cost of living. So they will speak about nothing about other than the cost of living. There are some who will be more focused on the freedom of expression. There are entities formed just to defend the freedom of expression. They will talk about the freedom of expression. People choose or make their own agenda. They set their own agenda. You won't set the agenda for others. You won't draw others to what you want them to speak about. They will draw you to what they want to say. So that's why we have a plural society. This one is talking about maize production. This one is talking about cabbage production. This one is talking about cattle and goats. This one is talking about other things. That's what a plural society is. That's what a multi-party political dispensation is about. We are not going to be one thing, speak from or sing from one hymn book of kwenyu, kwenyu. No. People have the right to express themselves in the way they want. That's what makes a vibrant multi-party political dispensation.
So then now, would you say, especially for some, even from our callers where we've had, when we've got opposition figures who come, they say, we understand you've highlighted these problems, but you'd never give us the solutions. It's always, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. But what's the solution to all this that's wrong?
What is wrong with that? So
they want solutions to those things that have been pointed out that are wrong.
First, before you get even to solutions, are you saying people should not point out what is wrong unless they have got an answer?
Well, that's what the people want.
So if it's paining, your hand is paining, you are feeling the pain, you should not complain that it's paining unless you have got the solution to that pain.
Well, they would like such an alternative.
No. I'm asking. If my hand is paining, I should not complain to you or to any other person near me, I'm in pain, unless I have a solution. If I'm hungry, I'm a citizen of this country, I'm hungry, I've not eaten for a day or two, I should not complain that I'm hungry unless I've got a solution to my hunger. If I've been denied the permit to demonstrate, to protest, to hold a rally 33 times, I should not complain until I have a solution to that. I should not come on radio and say this is happening to me unless I have a solution. You have floods coming to this building. You should not complain that you can't get into this building because there are floods until you have a solution. I should not come here and say our friends in government promised that meal will be this price when they come into government. Fuel will be this price when they come into government. Nchitos zankara mbwe when they come into government. Until I have a solution to how much the price of meal should be, to how much the price of fuel should be. If I don't have, I should not talk about it. What type of a society is that? Where you can only speak when you have a solution.
Well, then
part of the discourse is that discourse to complain, to talk about what is happening to you, that leads to solutions. And the solutions are not expected from one person. Ababe mbabatira infu mushitunguru lafye. abateeka abakiteefintu bantu. It is in the course of discourse, it is in the course of discussions that solutions emerge. We are not looking for a single genius. We are looking for a collective genius. We are not looking for a MacGyver, one MacGyver. We are looking for a collective MacGyver. We are not looking for a body will fix it, because we have seen that there's no such a thing. The solutions, together with the problems that are being endured, are collective. We are not looking for one Fred member to come and say, when I become president, Zambia will become this paradise because of me. I'm the might who. I'm the knower of this and that. I'm the Alpha and the Omega. I'm the Redeemer. I'm not. And no one is. Only one Redeemer who's coming, we are rejoicing today. There will be no one to take his place.
So then wouldn't you say if you're vying for a presidential office, therefore people must vote for you knowing that should you come into power, this is the change that one can expect?
Yes.
So then what the people are saying is...
You are right. You are right. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is, don't simply say people can only complain when they have got solutions. I'm saying that's a wrong approach. But when you come into politics, you're a political party, I think almost all our political parties have got manifestos. They have got manifestos on various, in terms of how they are going to approach various issues. So is the Socialist Party. We have got an approach on education. We have an approach on health services. We have an approach on agriculture. We have an approach on mining. We have an approach on multi-party political dispensation, how we are going to deepen democracy and so forth. We are saying, take kuchinja fye chipani chireteeka nakateeka olipo. Kuchinja emitekere tulefaya. And we can tell you how we want to do that. But there is this pressure from those who are being criticized to simply say, you have no solution, shut up. You have no solution, shut up. That's not the way. And you can't come here in 1 hour and 50 minutes and give you the whole picture of what is going to happen. Even if I gave you the SP manifesto, which is on our website, you will not be able to read it in 50 minutes. So if you ask me a specific question, what are you going to do with education? We can discuss education, and we have done that. You can go to our website, you'll find 2 hours, 3 hours of discourse. You ask me, what are you going to do with health? I will explain to you what our vision on health is. What are you going to do with mining? I'll be able to tell you what we are going to do with mining. What are you going to do with defense and security? We have demonstrated what we are going to do with the defense and security. What will be our defense doctrine? What will be our military doctrine? How are we going to improve, to deal with the intelligence? Who tell you? How are we going to restructure the whole defense and security? Who tell you? There is no topic that will not be able to tell you. But if you want to ask me a question that should sum up all this in 1, 2, 3 sentences, I will not be able to do that. So if you want me to discuss any policy issue, ask me. I will tell you. We can spend even 2 hours on one issue. Just the defense and security, we can spend 3 hours discussing the military. What our military doctrine will be, I'll tell you. How we are going to deal with the issue of the intelligence services, I'll tell you. So it's not that we don't have a view. We have a view of what we want to do, but that's just one view. Others have got their own views. At the end of the day, what will matter is how we aggregate all these views. Even when we have our views, we still have to listen to others. We are not just going to take over this country and say, this is SP now running the country, all of you shut up. We know it all. We have our manifesto. Yes, our manifesto is just one view of how society should be shaped. Even if we came into government, we still have to listen to others. We won't simply say, you voted us on this manifesto, we are not listening to anybody else. Cotton wool in our ears. And we just listen to ourselves. And we tell you when you want to criticize us, those are your solutions. When you come into government, implement them. We will still have to listen to you. Despite that, we have our own blueprint.
Okay. Now let's dive into the IMF. You have opposed the IMF program. Now, if Zambia had rejected the IMF deal in itself, how would government pay the teachers, the nurses, the service debt this in this economic dispensation, according to you?
Look, you can be in problems today financially. You go to Kalova. You have no alternative, you go to Kalova. You borrow 20,000 kwacha to come and pay at the end of the month, what, 25, 30? Yes, or so on. Yes, it has solved your problem for that day, but it has created another problem. If somebody comes and tells you, no, that's not the way to go, you are getting yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into trouble. Then you say, I don't have an alternative. This is the best way. Yes, you are desperate, but don't try to turn a weakness into a virtue. Going to IMF is not a strength. It is a weakness. You are desperate. So that desperation, that weakness should not be turned into a virtue. If we had another alternative, would you have gone to Kalova?
What alternatives would you propose instead of IMF?
There are many things. Firstly, don't give away your own money to other people. You are in need of 30,000 kwacha or 20,000 kwacha. I come with my problems. I entice you. You give me 10,000 kwacha. You have a deficit of 10,000 kwacha. Then you go to Kalova. Why did you give me that? Why? You have taxes that you can collect from mining companies and other transnational corporations. You waive your right to those taxes. You say, we are giving you a tax holiday so that you can increase your investment. You can plow in more money. Then in the meantime, as we are going to Kalova and get ourselves into deeper trouble, does it make sense? The money that we are borrowing from the IMF is money that we can earn on our own, without tying ourselves to a program, to an agenda set by others. Even if the IMF talks about homegrown solutions, there are no homegrown solutions. It's IMF-grown solutions. They are not. We don't set the programs of the IMF. We fit ourselves into the program that the IMF has set. But there's no African country that has gotten away in a better way with IMF programs. We have had a number of IMF programs in this country.
Okay.
If the IMF was the solution, we wouldn't be where we are today. And most of Africa wouldn't be where it is today. There is no African country that has succeeded. Show me one. Ghana has had, I don't know how many programs. Ghana is still in problems since independence. We have had the structure adjustment program by the IMF. Also bear in mind that the IMF was not created for you. You were not a country. You were not a sovereign country when the IMF was created in 1945 or after 1945, after the Second World War. You were a colony. You were not even a member of the United Nations. Because to be a member of the United Nations, you had to be a sovereign country, a sovereign territory. You were a possession of the United Kingdom. You were owned. You were an appendage. There was no African country that was independent then, not even Ghana, that became independent in 1957. You are all colonies. They set the IMF, they set the World Bank for themselves, not for you. Find your own solutions to your own problems. It was created for themselves, not for you.
So, sorry to cut you off short, Dr. Membe. When countries borrow, doesn't every country borrow out there from the IMF to sort out their problems?
There is nothing wrong with borrowing. Whether at an individual level, at a corporate level, or at a sovereign level. What matters is where you are borrowing from, the terms on which under which you are borrowing, and also what you are using the money for, because it will require you to pay back. If you are borrowing money to go and buy shoes that are not productive, they are just for you to go to kitchen parties and weddings, you will not be able to repay that loan from the use of shoes. Probably if you're an actress, you need those shoes. They will from acting, it will generate money and you'll be able to pay back. So you can justify that I need this gear for my work. It's productive. But if it's just fashion to go and show off here and there, you better think twice. If you are going to borrow money to throw a wedding, to throw a birthday party, to buy food and other things for Christmas, when Christmas is over, when the wedding is over, you have to pay. Where are you going to get the money? So it matters what you use the money for. It matters the terms under which you borrow. There are times when you know, as individuals who have decided, I'm not going to borrow, let me save for 6 months. I'll be putting a small amount aside every month. This thing that I want to buy, my fridge or whatever I want to buy, let it wait until I've saved enough money and I'll go and buy. Because I can't borrow from Kalova. I'll pay more and it will put me into problems. We make these decisions. So what you are borrowing for, the terms you are borrowing matter. Nobody has gotten away with borrowing from the IMF. There are conditionalities. Sometimes governments had to turn, their soldiers, their police officers you have borrowed, then you better think twice about that borrowing. And the example of that is all over Africa. Governments have lost elections. Governments have been toppled under IMF programs.
Do remember that this is Voice of the People. You can be part of the conversation by calling us up right now, sending us a message. That's either on 0961-690-487 or 0955-997-997 or even on 0979-192-485. In studio with us, we do have an interesting guest, and he's a man that I would say needs no introduction by now, and that is a great political figure by the name of Dr. Fred Membe. He's the president of the Socialist Party, a veteran journalist, and a long-time critic of successive governments. In recent months, he has widely and openly criticized the UPND government, the IMF program, rising costs of living, but also what he has described as a shrinking democratic space in Zambia. His supporters see him as a principled voice of the poor and working class, while critics argue that he offers strong rhetoric but unclear solutions in a complex global economy. And we do have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. You're through to Voice of the People. Who are we speaking to?
Hello.
Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Zinanga Evans intumira kwa Chazanga.
Okay, go ahead with Evans.
Yeah, Dr. Membe mwa ukabwani.
Na ashubuka fe wino shukuru mwa ashubuka shani.
Twavuka fye kwino. Okay, na ine kucontribute hapo pa amene topic. Okay, chame chiti dabuisa iste. Pamene okay mwakamba utati kulibe complain na waipendi badandala next to have a solution. That is true. Bita kulibe democracy aso. But chame ni kamba koncha kuikira hapo ncha kutati ba UPND futi benzo seka banzawa ati why bakongola. That's why we voted for them, because we have got solution. We are not going to borrow, but they have gone for IMF. That is a meeting to show you that more than they were just criticizing over for the sake of criticizing. While they don't have solution, they are going the way. I mean, some.
Hello, we can hear you. Can go ahead. Hello. Unfortunately, we seem to have lost him. Do remember you can call us up. That's either on 0961 690 487 or 0955 997 997 or even on 0979 192 485. If network is an issue in your area, you can send a text message and we will read it right here on air and our guest will have an opportunity to answer. Hello, good morning. You're through to Voice of the People. Who are we speaking to?
Yeah, Dr. Membe, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Dr. Membe.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello?
Dr. Membe, ifuna mungale organize ya ndani ya separation stifuna, because for example why nakamba va Membe vantu vavutika mairo vantu vevavutika muzaka kambati you have failed but nisindimwe mwangala failed vantu vavutika pali ino time vevanatira va UPND ni vambiri maningi but va missing a direction. It's like monga chikanyoni kali ku left hand side then utenga mfuti ushutinga ku right hand side, which means ni missing direction. So ava valuri party vasebenzela ku treating up.
Hello? Unfortunately, we seem to have lost him. We'll just take one more caller before we give you a chance to answer. Hello, good morning. You're through to Voice of the People. Who are we speaking to?
Hello, I'm Abukashani.
Abukafewino Abukashani.
Abukafewino. Doctor, I'm Abukashani.
Na Abukafewino moyo. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Okay. I never just sent to me now, banana.
Okay, well, Jessica, you can go ahead.
I'm quiet. I'm for a president from Leron.
Hello? Hello, Jessica, can you hear us? Oh my, we seem to be having a problem with our network. Please send text messages just in case you can't get through to us via phone call. That's either on 0961 690 487.
Response is this. Don't leave everything to the politician. Democracy is not just about politicians making all the decisions for you. And the only thing is every 5 years you vote. Voting is just one little aspect of a democratic society. Democracy has to continue on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute basis. You have to be there, you have to participate. The politician is not the only leader of our people. Politician tentu ngurushi yeka ya bantu besu. Tualikuwa tentu ngurushi na shimbi. We have the traditional leadership, nintu ngurushi shies. We have the religious leadership, nintu ngurushi shies. We have the business people. The business people employ many people, they lead. They are also our leaders. We have the trade union leaders who represent the workers. They also are our leaders. We have the intellectuals who think through a lot of things, who interrogate certain things, who research on a lot of things. These are also important leaders of our society. We have also other civic leaders. They all must participate in the governance of our country. If we reduce it just to the politician eka tete akwanisha okutufunyama problems tukwetelero. Nama solution eka politician tete akwate. Ichirefu ikakubika emitwe pamo n'okubombera pamo. That's the only way we can solve these problems. We need collective effort, we need collective solutions, we need collective wisdom. We need a collective genius. If you leave it to your politicians to deal with these things, amachushi mule pitamole rota kapwe.
Sorry to cut you off short. We'll just have to accommodate caller. Hello, is you to the Power Breakfast Show? Hello, Vajeska. The network is very bad. Try using the other numbers.
Okay.
You can use either 0961-690-487 or 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. Hello, you're through to Voice of the People. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Network is Akatiniwa.
Yes, who are we speaking to?
Timwene Mtonga.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Vamembe. Tifuna mungale organize pamoja na opposition leader. Tifuna pali inotaye mutika kambeti oro imwe oro ise veva vutika pali inotaye mu. Tikambo bremana after 2026 August 18 tikambo bremana kuti you have failed us na imwe mukambati you have failed us. Ivo sitifuna. Vema peruka pali inotaye mu. Ni ruling party because vamene vanatiraya vakangiwa kusevenzerapo. Imwe vamembe gwirizanani pali ino time vantu vose vali na njara yovotera imwe leaders ma opposition leaders vafuna kuti vakamuvoterani musikepo few vintu vamene vanatangiwa ava ruling party ndeve ningakambe vamene ivi vamembe gwirizanani na vanzanu tengani vanzanu vakolonganyikani oro vakamba toipa pali imwe na imwe osankhara kubwezerana rendani tenganani vamembe gwirizanani vose tikufunani 2026 takangiwa talema na va UPND vamene ava just because of vatiritinga imwe ma opposition party so tifuna imwe tikamupasani vote okay msevenze bwino vamembe
na totela va Mutonga na chitila infumu shitungulula fye avateka avachitefintu vantu. Your participation in Mutonga matters. Your leadership matters. You don't need to hold a position in a political party to influence what is going in your country, to participate in the affairs of your country. You have a duty to help construct the leadership that you want, that will serve your interests. The unity that we are seeking is not only a unit of politicians, but also the unity of all our people in all their diversities and complexities. Yes, to win an election, there is need for political unity, for the politicians to unite. And this unity can be influenced by what you say yourself, by what you do. Your calling into this radio program, asking us to unite, is important. It's an important step. And also the radio station giving you that opportunity to air your views on this opposition unity. The radio station, the journalists who are here, are also contributing to that unity that we are seeking in our country. Without unity, it will be very, very difficult to tackle our problems. And without unity, it will be very difficult to achieve our political agendas, our political goals. We have to work very hard all of us to seek that unity. Unity is not easy to achieve. It's easy to disunite. It's easy for each one of us to go their way. To go in one direction and taking one step is not easy. It requires effort, it requires compromises, it requires sacrifice. Please, Wamutonga, keep on pushing us.
Hello, good morning. You're through to Voice of the People. Who are we speaking to today? Okay, well, Robert, can you please increase or rather bring the mouthpiece of the phone closer? You're very low.
Okay. Robert.
Okay, go ahead, Robert. Yes, yes, yes.
Ndife wino shukuru, Merry Christmas.
Awe Merry Christmas.
Nangu kulia machushi, at least let's rejoice the coming of the Redeemer.
Cost of living ukasanga amazambia nje bali imiti achina abamwenye nawe kala sema etinika abanda bana tamaka kireta ushomwina zanda usakilo kifika ka kireta umuntu wafuna kuinja alifu la 10 pin umuntu uli mzanda alifu la 2 pin different ili pesa paifwe abene batarona ifuna abamwenye ni banani so best ya mwa kiashi mtu afunga mwa isapa mpepa ndona inzu atotera mombe wini
atotera sa
abene bachalo mulechula Mulechulo Mulandu, you are not in ownership of your economy. You are not the owners of this economy. You are not in control of the economy. You can't control what you don't own. That's why ownership of economy is important. You don't own the mines, they are owned by other people. You don't own the banks, they are owned by other people. Today, only 2% of the banking sector is 100% under Zambian ownership. Only 2%. We have 12 billion banking assets. Out of that 12 billion, we only control 2%, 100%. And money is important in an economy. Money is like blood in our bodies. One who controls that flow of your blood in your body controls you, owns you, can switch off your life. If you don't control the money in the economy, you will not be able to use that money to make business. To run a cantemba today, you need capital. Capital is money most of the time. You need to go to the bank to get that money. You want to open a small business, you need money. Who will give it to you if you don't control that money? That money will go kuliba mwisa, abale control ndalamesho. We only control 5% of our financial sector. Those who control that, they will lend to us at rates that are too high for us. They will lend to themselves or to their fellow citizens or their relatives at lower rates. Their businesses will boom. Mukalabu mbela fiaba neno. Akale valetila ziko ni yanu, ndalama ni zatu. Mali kamina ziko ni yanu. So today we still think we own this country, but we don't own the resources of this country. They are under the control of other people. And there's a problem. You own, then you control. We want our people to own the mines. 60 years after independence, we don't have people meaningfully owning mines in Zambia. Apart from those who are agency of others.
Let's accommodate more callers. Hello, it's you to the Power Breakfast Show. Okay, before we do get more callers on the line. All right. Hello, it's you to the Power Breakfast Show.
Okay.
Hello, I just kindly ask if you can reduce the volume on your radio set or your TV set. We're getting some feedback.
My name is Matthews Batantoka.
Go ahead, Matthews. Okay, go ahead, Matthews from Kitwe.
Yeah, President Bombashan, Matukeni.
Merry Christmas, Shukuru, Valishani.
We know
Shukuru. We have to
Okay,
put
no
our
point.
troubles, our sorrows today aside and rejoice the coming of the Redeemer.
Yes. Inopondepo kutapisa contribution wa president. Chako bati imwe mwa president mwebesa mulaturukia for Zambian. Mwa president mwebesa mulaturukia for Zambian because wonse fyo mbona mwene mbona mo fyo bufi. Inopo mbona mo wazi message katontoka. Mbona mo bufi. Because apaso abalipo ba ruling party barerulina balishire n'obufi bwabo andi na imwe isitureranda pano nemwalaisa n'amaswitch talk by the time tikesa milika patipuna tamwakatibombere just because muli paikire chipuna ifo kwema Zambia ni turechura msinti sana ngana simbone this time pali bokupatukana because me am UPND uyu MP ali mu PF otonse or what but diresa msangati ulo wa PF talebombera mulia munanika nekala let's say me I say Chamboni in Uzakire constituency but MP was wa PF but the parafia lebomba myeso mama ni wa president just because wa PF talebombera chipanika IPNB nga mwana you come to ku Chamboni mwaisa pita mchamboni mukesa mwana mukesa randati ushenya wale bomba mukesa randati no ba president talali bomba wabati abantu tubika abena ma MP eba tababomba tabafikirisha kuli mwe ma president. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you answer his question, or rather his comment, we do have a couple of messages here, and one of them is where one of them says, just give me a moment there. He goes on to say that I love it when Dr. Membe says that politicians are not only leaders of our country, meaning that when something comes into power, or someone comes into power, the government will lead from behind and allow the people to express themselves. And then we also do have another who is saying, morning, the government claims that the economy has improved, but the environment says the opposite. The example is most shopping malls used to be highly decorated, even outside on their trees during this period, but now it can't happen because of the harsh economy. And this one is from Charles in North Mid.
Chachi neshukulu mwabe pwapafula. Ababaisa povami bepa, ababaisa povami gonga, ababaisa povami nyunya. There is something to learn from that. Lelo atumakoyo akubepa. Mailo waisa atumakoyo akugonga. Waisa atumakoyo akunyunya. Wala tumako na umbi kuya kowe mwine okuya ibombela echo tuletira tekuchinja fechipani ichireteke cha UPND na kateko wabo hakaende ichireme chirefu aikwa kuchinje emitekere shikulunga tatuchinjishe emitekere abaleisa po bakesa minyunya futi ngamulina striker ule ingisha sana magos ama defenders bamumakashani ni bumper to bumper, tight marking. Na imwebene na mubepwa pafula. Intungulu shimule sala. Nita ilingiro kuba tight marking. Ngata pali tight marking bale minyunya. Echo tuletira teku chinja fie ichipani chireteka na kateka kuchinje mitekele. Tientu chinje mitekele so that you can participate more. When you are participating in something, it's very difficult to be cheated. It's very difficult to be lied to because you are a participant. But if you have just sent somebody kachitefio lefu wamupera blank check, ala kunyunya. But if you are there with that person by every turn, it's very difficult to kubepo. And if they try, they'll end badly. So, anda babufi bakwata olimi ulwalowa ukulo okuchirana sugar yakuna kambala. They have a very sweet tongue. Ngamwa tuvotela tukamiletere efi tukamipere efi tukamichitire efi vala fileta vala fichita vala mipela baba ngomwa wabufinga lefu yana mayo ala yefingi mayo wandi baby nga wansumina nkakupa takushitira na motoka kakulire nganda nefi bamambala tabopa nokupa lya bwaisa chole mfatika John kaliya buli abushuka litwala ensalamu kuli bameri wenduyi ulero ya kaliya efyo baba n'abapolitician besu lero babuficha chini abanenso abaleteeka abafingi balayire efyo bafira okufikirisha but muisakamana ubuchenje shuwankoko bachira pungwa tasakamana. Chinje ni mitekere.
We do have a caller? Yes. Sorry to cut you off short. Let's accommodate the caller. Hello, it's to the Power Breakfast Show.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Who are we speaking to?
Hi, thanks, and how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Comrade,
You're breaking. What did you say your name is?
sorry?
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Maybe please call us again. You seem to be breaking. The network is quite bad where you are.
Even now, you can't get me properly?
Okay, now we can get you. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Comrade President, good morning.
Merry Christmas to you, comrade.
Sam, this is Jimmy Smonga, your first MP. President, you are speaking well. You are speaking well. The only problem that we have with the people that are ruling us today is that they are full of lies. There is nothing that I can say. They are full of lies. It is lies, lies. They started with lies. They are living with lies. And they will continue lying to us. And if we are not going to work extra hard, then even the next 5 years we are going to be lying too. And the people of Zambia must wake up to its totality and see to it that the lives that we have lived with in the past 4 years, if they are to be allowed to continue in the next 5 years up to 2031, then we don't know where Zambia is going to be. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much for calling. And actually, just to piggyback off what he says, or rather what some of the callers have said, Dr. Membe, we have seen Zambia try socialism before, and that was under UNIP. And unfortunately, we've also seen the aftermath of that, where so many parastatals unfortunately collapsed. Should we put Socialist Party into power, what will be different that we failed with in the past?
Ma'am, I'm sorry to correct you. We have never had a socialist program in Zambia.
So then maybe I think the name of the party might make one misunderstand.
No, we have never had socialism in Zambia. We have never.
Not even a form of it to some extent.
No, we have never had. UNIP was not a socialist party. UNIP did not have a socialist program.
But some
UNIP was a social democratic party within the capitalist system.
Yes.
Under capitalism, there are many brands of capitalism.
Yes, they are.
There are social democrats, there are liberal democrats, there are conservatives, and so on. UNIP pursued a social democratic system, social democracy. It never had a socialist program. So to talk about a socialist program under UNIP is not correct. And I want to correct you on that.
I appreciate that.
So there's no socialism that failed in Zambia because there was no socialism that was implemented in Zambia. Having free education, as UNIP gave it to us, it was not socialism per se. We had free education. I was one of the first children of this country to benefit from the free education of UNIP. We were the first children of this country to go to school after independence in 1965. And we had the free education, not what you are having today. Those who went to school before us had to pay. When we went to school, we did not only not pay, but we also had free uniforms given to us, free exercise books, free textbooks, free pencils, free pens, free crayons. And we also went to school to eat. We did not only go to school to learn, we went to school to eat. Our vaccinations of all sorts were done at school. There was medication at school. You have a headache, you are taken care of. You have malaria, is sorted out at school. So school was everything for us. Even when you are not feeling well, you go to school to be treated, you go to school to eat, you go to school to be cared for. We were happy children. We were happy with our leaders. We loved our leaders. When our leaders came to our schools, there was no learning, and you didn't need to be told that tomorrow Kaunda is coming at the aerodrome or the airport. There will be no school. Even if our teachers insisted that there will be school, they would have empty classrooms because we would go to receive Kenneth Kaunda. We loved our leaders because also we felt that they loved us. We went to school, to the same schools with the children of our leaders. A child of Kenneth Kaunda is sleeping here, a child of a poor peasant is sleeping next to him or to her. We use the same toilets, the same showers with the leaders, with the children of our leaders. We went to the same hospitals with the children of our leaders. We went to the same shopping places. We shopped from the same places with our leaders and their families. And in fact, we ate almost the same type of food. A poor family in Matero, in Chilenje, ate almost the same type of diet with the leaders along Independence Avenue. It was an equal society. Even mobility, social mobility, was very high, was free. You could have a girl from Garden Compound being married to someone who lives in Kablonga. Today, if you are born in a Garden Compound, your chances of moving to Kablonga to be married there are very low. Where are you going to meet your future husband? You go to different churches. Your church, even if it's the same church, your church in the compound is different from the church in the suburbs. You go to different shopping malls. They go to these nice shopping malls. You don't go there. You go to your Kontama boutiques somewhere there. You go to different schools. You go to different hospitals. Even when you want to socialize on Christmas Day like this or Christmas Eve, you go to different social places. Where are you going to meet? We went to the same places, so we met. You would find a child of this minister marries someone. Today, a child of from a parent in Garden can never go to the same school with a child of a minister. We went to the same schools with the children of Kenneth Kaunda and his ministers or MCCs. That was the type of society UNIP gave us. And there's nothing so painful to a human being than to feel you are nothing because of where you're born. To feel you count for nothing, you're a second-class citizen of your country. Other people matter than you. Inferiority complex sets in, exclusion sets in. A sense of equality gives a human being a lot of happiness, a lot of dignity. Today we live in a society that is highly divided. Divided by on the basis of have and have-nots, but also divided even ethnically today. It matters which region of the country you come from. The UNIP did not give us that type of society. It gave us a society of equality. Although that was not socialism, that was something worth striving for, and something a socialist person would strive for, a good Christian would strive for, a good citizen would want to achieve. What does Christianity teach us? What did the Redeemer come to do? The one who's coming, we are rejoicing today. He came to give us a sense of dignity on this planet, a sense of equality. He did not just come to take us to heaven. He also cared about our human dignity here, because these bodies we carry, they are images of our Creator. That's why when we die, we are not just disposed the way cats, dogs are disposed. From birth to death, we are treated differently.
So maybe, if I should say, to give context to maybe my question is, one could say possibly, or rather how one would believe that we had some form of socialism under UNIP is because of what you've touched on and how there wasn't a division when it comes to classes, right? So now we've seen how that worked, but it fell apart. And looking at how when we look at so many nations in the world at the moment, capitalism seems to be what is thriving. So under the Socialist Party, should we come under what you're saying? Do you think that will make it a fair society? Is that really realistic?
Let me take you a little bit to the history of humanity. Mm-hmm. It may even be a bit boring. Human beings have not lived the same way throughout. There was the initial society which was called the primitive communalism. It was primitive communism. There were no classes in that society. There was no ownership in that society. Nobody owned anything. And there was the absolute freedom in that society with absolute equality. There was also, you can say, there was absolute democracy in that society. Then the first class society emerged, which was the slave-owning society. That society emerged, immediate private ownership started, and mainly of land, and production started. And with it also the state emerged, where human beings were slaves and others were slave owners. That society continued for millions of years. Then it gave way to another society called the feudal society. The feudal society freed the slave and made him or her a serf, a tenant of a land, who produced for the feudal lord. That society also lasted some years, and it gave way to the capitalist society. The capitalist society started first as a mercantile society, mercantile trading. Then the industrial capitalism came in and dominated. Then we were dominated at one stage by finance capital. Today we are dominated by digital capitalism. What I'm trying to tell you is there's no phase or there's no type of society that lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Capitalism is 700 years old. 700 years old. The digital capitalism we have today, we are subjected to today, is almost closing to 40 years now. It's a new society. But look at the fundamental changes taking place. The contradictions that are in this society will definitely give way to another form of society. And that society will definitely be a socialist society and eventually the communist society. Whether we like it or not, it will happen. There's nothing that lasts forever in human society. Society is in motion, it's developing. We have never had a socialist society in Zambia. We have had good governments, good social democratic governments. The government we had, you can compare it maybe to the Swedish, the Danish, the Finnish, or the Norwegian. That's a capitalist society, but it's different from the capitalist society of America. The social democrats would rather look after you, give you good education, provide you with good health services for free. Then they come and tax you heavily to pay for that. They fatten the cow. The American type of capitalism is different from that. They would rather you die without any of these social services. You won't find the people sleeping on the streets in some of these social democratic societies, but you find them in the richest country, the USA. That's the type of society.
Yes.
Anchored on unbridled greed, unbridled individualism, unbridled competition, unbridled consumerism. That's the type of society.
So then my follow-up would be, do you believe, at least from what you've seen on the ground, that socialism, or rather what the Socialist Party is presenting, is attractive to a generation that's been raised under the digital economy?
Maybe.
In the next, let's say like next year, possibly?
Help me a little bit. I'm not putting you in my position as a person being interviewed. What did you understand about the society the Socialist Party wants to build? What is it? What type of society?
I think that's something maybe you tell us. What would you like to build? And do you think so far from what? Because I would say maybe...
Okay, let me tell you then.
Yes.
The Socialist Society wants to build an honest society where there's equity, where there's humility, where there's solidarity. If you go to your biblical teachings, your Christian teachings, these are the same values Christ espoused. We are seeking for a society where there's human dignity, where there's solidarity, where a human being is treated as a human being, not an object. Don't forget that this society we're exalting today, the capitalist society we're exalting today, was built on slavery. Your ancestors were traded on the capitalist market as commodities, shipped to the Americas, died, most of them along the way. 40 million Africans were shipped to build the capitalist society you're exalting today, to build industrial capitalism. 40 million. And the 40 million of our best people, the strongest, they were not taking small men like me. They were taking the huge ones. That's why you find, the Caribbeans are huge, the Americans are huge, the black people. They were taking our artisans, those who were at the top of our technological advancements. They took them. And we have not recovered from that. The people who suffered is not only those who were taken as slaves to the Americans, even us who remained behind, who were being hunted. We are hunted like animals. When you are living in fear, that fear is transmitted through the DNA for centuries and centuries. You see, if you watch wildlife movies or documentaries, you find animals that are highly threatened by predators. It has just been littered. It's jumping around in fear. It has never seen any animal being attacked. Where did the fear come from? It's transmission through the DNA. Today, your self-esteem as an African is very low. A white person walks into this room, you start to feel a superior human being has entered the room. You treat them differently. Your level of self-esteem is very low. And with that low self-esteem, your ability to create diminishes. We have to regain the dignity God gave us as human beings for us to move forward. We have to work on our humanity. And struggling for a more equitable society, a more just society, gives us that human dignity. It makes us more human. We want to regain control over what God gave us. Lesa talu fienyo kutuleta kunono kwisa tupela fionse fili muno. Nga alefu okupela ba muisa abasungu ififili muno. Nga fitwele kulya baba. The resources of this territory are ours, given to us by our Creator, to make life easier for us. But ila desatapela kumina palamika fina tu palamika fionse. Socialism wants us to gain control, to gain ownership over what God gave us, so that we can live better. The same way the Arabs are living better from the oil He gave them. We want to live better from the water He has given us, the good soil He has given us, the minerals He has given us, the good weather He has given us, and the lovely people He has put in this territory. We have to thank Him and use what He has given us. to live better. That's what socialism is. Or what the socialism that the Socialist Party is advancing is. It wants you to own this economy. It wants you to control this economy. And the ownership will not only be the state. There will be private individual ownership. There will be cooperative ownership. And all sorts of forms of ownership. But the most important thing is we have to own, to have our own people own. We want to create our own billionaires who you as Zambians can control. Can tell you can't take this money elsewhere. This is our money, you made it with us. Use it here. Yes, it's your money, but it's also our money. That's the society that we want. You can't control what you don't own. You are still a colony, a neo colony. A country that is controlled by others cannot develop. Even you, ma'am, if today you are controlled by her, you won't develop, she will develop. For you to be able to fully develop as a human being, you have to start gaining control over yourself. There was a time when you were under the control of mom and dad, but you wanted to develop and you freed yourself at some point to start setting your own agenda, to start setting your own destiny. And you are developing. You eat what you want to eat, not what you are forced to eat. You dress the way you want to dress. You live where you want to live. You do things the way you want to do them. You set up your house the way you want it to be. When you are under mom and dad's control, you didn't have that. So you are not developing the way you want. We wanted to gain control over our country. That's what the Socialist Party is saying. When you gain control over your country, you will develop. And gaining control over your country is gaining control over the resources. And we are saying we want increased participation. We want all our leaders to participate. The traditional leadership should participate. The religious leadership should participate. The business people should participate in the governance of this country. We are saying it's not only the politician who should lead us, who should guide the destiny of this country. All our leaders should participate. People participate through their leaders. We want all our people to participate, and they will participate through their leaders. Not at the benevolence of a politician, no, but by their own right, their own entitlement.
All right, Doctor. Thank you very much for coming through. Due to time, our producer is saying that we have overshot, but we do appreciate. Thank you very much for coming through. Under a minute, what do you have for the electoralists as we'll be going to the polls just under a minute?
Firstly, today is Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. At least even for today, forget your sorrows, forget your troubles, and rejoice the coming of the Redeemer. Every night has this morning. It gets dark, but the morning comes. Things are hard, but don't lose hope. Don't give yourself up to alcohol. Don't give yourself up to drugs. Don't give yourself up to criminality. Or don't lose yourself also to cynicism, where you feel things will never change. Politicians are the same. Everybody the same. They are greedy, they are this and that. Societies have never been built by cynics. Cynics have never built communities. Let's be critical, but let's not be cynical.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming through.
Thank you.
All right. This has been Voice of the People right here on the Power Breakfast on Power 91.3. You can catch us live on Dstv channel 92, or you can